Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram Namah Shri Shankarananda Guru Padambujanmane Savila Samaha Moha Grahagrasaika Karimane. Okay, wonderful. So we will continue from where we left off. First, we'll revise what we had done before. I hadn't been able to update the verses in English, so just bear with me today and I will update them. Okay, so let us read from verse number 73. Apramatto bhava dhyanad adyen yasmin vivechanam Guru pramana yuktebhyam tato rudhatamo bhavet dhyanan manad yuktitopi rudhe bhede vyatsatoh nakadachit vyatssatyam sadvastu chidravannacha Nyasya bhati sada vyoma vistatvo lekha purvavat sadvastvapi vibhatyasya nichidratva purassaram vasanayam pravriddhayam vyatssatyatva vadinam sanmatra bodhayuktam cha drishtva vismayate buddhaha Evamākāṣamityātve satsatyatve ca vasite nyāyena vaivādehe satvastu pravivicyatam. Okay, so where are we now in Panchadashi? So last time we had seen that definitely by this logic, we can understand that space is unreal. What is the logic when we say space exists? What's happening in this statement? There is space and there is existence. First, we have to know that we have to divide these two things. Otherwise, we just say, okay, space exists, air exists, water exists. We divide these two things. Okay, fine, we divide them. And we know they are different because they're two different words and they're two different comprehensions. When you say space, the word is different and we comprehend something different. When we say existence, the word is different, we comprehend something different. So the next question is, if they are two different things, what is their relationship? So the relationship is called adhara and adheya. Adhara means one is the substance and one is which is held by the substance, or we can say property. So the substance is existence and that which is held by existence is space, right? Why do we say that? Because existence is adhikavritti, means it is all pervading. Existence is all pervading. It is in and through everything. But space is less pervading. So that which is less pervading cannot be the substratum. That which is the substratum of everything must pervade everything, right? The reality of the world, the substratum of all the names and forms must pervade all names and forms. And that cannot be space because there are some places where space does not pervade, right? We don't say like space bottle. or we don't say like space book, right? But we do say this bottle is, and we do say this book is. So by this understanding that everything is isness, existence pervades everything, every single thing. It is the substratum of all names and forms, and therefore on that substratum, space rests. So when we say space exists, what's actually happening is existence is there and space appears on it. That's what we're saying. Okay, so now if this is their relationship, where this is existence and space rests on that existence, what is the nature of space? So the nature of existence is existence. Now space is something different from existence. Therefore, what's different from existence is non-existence. So the nature of space is non-existence. But how can you say that space doesn't exist? Because I can comprehend it. I can experience it. I can get the notion of it. How do you say it doesn't exist? So we say what we're truly saying is that it is mithya, or it's an illusion. It's an appearance. It appears, but it doesn't have its own existence. Its existence depends on sat, or existence. So this is what we found out about space, that space doesn't have its own existence. It depends on existence to exist. And therefore, it's called mithya. And with this simple logic, we can understand it. But also with the other logic that I gave you last time, that when something appears to exist and doesn't exist for some time, it appears to exist and doesn't exist for some time, it means existence isn't intrinsic to it. It is borrowing existence. And that which borrows existence is called mithya, or illusory. So with this simple understanding, we can comprehend intellectually that space is an illusion. And this is a very important point, because this whole chapter is about the illusory nature of the world. So if we can comprehend this much, then slowly, slowly, Swami Vidyaranyaji can take us across. Now, then the thought flow came that I am able to grasp it intellectually, but it's not in my heart. So my head has it, but my heart doesn't. And so he says there are two problems. One is a lack of focus, and one is doubt. There's still doubt. And if the problem is a lack of focus, or what we call anaikagriya, then the solution is dhyana, or contemplation, and holding this thought, just holding it and dwelling upon it. But if the problem is doubt, samshaya, then the solution is viveka, vivechanam, vichara, or inquiry, more listening, more reasoning to really understand clearly how this space is illusory. And what happens when somebody does that? So he was explaining last week, that somebody who has this firm understanding, somebody who has passed these two obstacles of lack of focus and doubt, somebody who's really rooted themselves in sat, or the reality, and the illusoriness of space, that person will never ever take space to be real. Will never ever take space to be real, or will never take existence to have the property of space or spaceness. And even if in their common language they say space exists, air exists, they will never forget that there's an underlying substratum of existence upon which space rests. They will never forget it. It is so clear. It is so clear. When we say space exists, we're very casual with it. But when they say space exists, they know that it's really existence. Space appears upon it. They know that in their heart, not only in their head, but also in their heart, because they have overcome those two obstacles. Now, what happens when they have this comprehension, this realization? They are in wonder at why we fight so much and argue so much over shapes of space. Why we, throw so much drama, throw a tantrum on all of the things in space when the reality is existence. So they are in wonder, like the story of the animal crackers that I gave you last time. They're just thinking, why are we so caught up in names and forms and not the underlying reality? And so now Swami Vidyaranyaji says, the way that we have distinguished existence from space, we have to go through now and distinguish also air from existence, because we have to come to the unreality of all the 5 elements. So now we're going to come to the unreality of air. And he gives a very, very beautiful flow, very nice flow to come to this understanding. So now we are on verse 78. Sadvastunyekadeshastha, sadvastunyekadeshastha, maya tatraikadeshagam, maya tatraikadeshagam, viyattatrapyekadesha, viyattatrapyekadesha, gato vayuh prakalpitaha, gato vayuh prakalpitaha, sadvastunyekadeshastha, maya tatraikadeshagam, viyattatrapyekadesha, gato vayuh prakalpitaha. So what he says here is sadvastuni ekadeshastha maya. Maya, we know what Maya is. Maya is that which is different from Sat and Asat, different from that which is absolutely real and that which is different from that which is absolutely not real. So it's in between. And we say that because Maya appears, what is completely false doesn't appear. It appears, but it also can be negated. So this Maya, ekadeshastha, in one part of Brahman, it rests. Now again, if you remember, we saw this in the previous verses, that Brahman doesn't actually have parts. Brahman doesn't have parts, it's partless. But we superimpose parts on the partless because the student's mind is asking, where is Maya in Brahman? And therefore, we have such verses in the Bhagavad Gita and in the Vedas, which will say that Maya exists in only a part of Brahman. So Maya is in a part of Brahman, just saying that for the student to understand. And what that really means is Maya cannot touch Brahman. Maya does not affect Brahman in any way, because Maya is just an appearance. And the appearance will never ever affect the substratum. Never affect the substratum. So like this, there is existence, or what we call Sat, and Maya is an appearance on that Sat. Okay. Now, Tatra. Tatra means in Maya, ekadeshagam viyat. In Maya, what rests in Maya is viyat, or space. So what rests in Maya is space. Tatra, And then what rests in space, api ekadesha gataha vayu. What rests in space is air. Prakalpitaha. This is falsely created. Falsely created. Falsely created means it doesn't, again, falsely created means it's appearing, but it doesn't have its own existence. So if you just think about it, the most pervasive thing is existence. And we're using pervasive again in relation to space. Whenever we talk about existence, there's a limit because nothing can really describe it. But because we have to transact, we say it's pervasive, all pervasive. On this all pervasive existence rests Maya, which is less pervasive. And then on Maya rests space, which is less pervasive than Maya. And on space rests Vayu, or air, which is less pervasive than space. So in this way, as they go, as they go to become more and more manifest, as the effects progress, they become less and less pervasive. So Sat, existence, being most pervasive, then Maya, then space, then air, right? And now, so what is this air? So we know that air rests in space, which rests in Maya, which rests in existence. So what is this air? Verse number 79. Shosha sparsho gatir vegaha. Shosha sparsho gatir vegaha. Vayudharma ime mataha. Vayudharma ime mataha. Trayasvabhava sanmaya. Trayasvabhava sanmaya. Vyomnam yete pivayugaha. Vyomnam yete pivayugaha. Shoshasparsho gatir vegaha. Vayudharma ime mataha. Trayasvabhava sanmaya. Vyomnam yete pimayugaha. Okay. So now he is describing the properties of Vayu, or air. So we know that sparsha, touch, is a property of air. The main property of air we know is touch. We hear this all the time because we're able to feel cold air, warm air, right? We have AC for cold air, heat for warm air. And definitely when we go out and we walk, we feel that air touch our skin, right? So the main property of air is touch. But here also he's giving 3 other ones. So 4 total that belong to air. What are they? Shosha. Shosha means the ability to dry. So the ability to take away moisture from something. It's from the whatever is wet, whatever is moisture, harana, it takes away the moisture, the wetness from something. So like somebody would use a hair dryer, right? Use a hair dryer to take away that moisture from the air. All kinds of things you do to take away moisture with the air. Shosha, sparsha, as I mentioned, is touch. Gati, gati is movement. Air's property is also movement. It moves, so you can hear the air whistling. Or if you can see the leaves sway. When there are leaves, you can see it sway. And if you turn on a fan, if you have a sheet of paper, it may fly away, right? And if you're taking a train and it goes really fast, like, so you can see that things fly on the platform. So air has that gati, or movement, and air also has vega. Vega means speed. So air, it has movement, but it also has very fast movement. So air can actually push clouds. Air can move clouds. Air can cause tornadoes. So it not only has movement, but very strong and fast movement. So these four things are exhibited in air or Vayu. Vayu dharma ime. So these are the dharmas of Vayu. Mataha. Means it is known that these are the dharmas of Vayu, the properties of Vayu, air. In addition to these four, Traya Swabhavaha, the three natures or the three properties of Sat, existence, Maya, and Vyomna, and space, they're also Vayugaha. Ye te api Vayugaha. They also come into air. So what comes into air? We'll see the whole thing. Existence, right? Existence comes from Sat. Then from Maya, one property comes from Maya. He will explain everything. Maya, Nistatva. He'll explain what that is. Nistatva means it doesn't have its own reality. From space, we have sound, right? Sound comes. So you can, in air, you tend to hear sounds now, right? Space just has that ability to transmit sound, just as a property to transmit sound. When you get air, so many other things come. We have then the ability to drain moisture, take out moisture. With touch, there is touch, there is movement, there is fast, quick movement. So all of these things now come to air. So this is what he's saying. Vayurastiti sadbhavaha. Vayurastiti sadbhavaha. Sato vayo pritakrite. Sato vayo pritakrite. Nistatvarupata maya. Nistatvarupata maya. Swabhavo vyomagodvanihi. Swabhavo vyomagodvanihi. Vayurastiti sadbhavaha. Sato vayo pritakrite. Nistatvarupata maya. Swabhavo vyomagodvanihi. So again, what comes from existence? Vayuhu asti iti means Vayu or air is. We say air is, right? Air is. So that isness, sadbhava, that isness is from existence. So air is. That isness is from existence. And then when we try to differentiate Maya, when we try to differentiate existence from air, Sato Vayo Pritakrite, when we try to differentiate existence from air, we understand that air doesn't have its own reality. It's nistatva, doesn't have its own reality, right? We use the same logic wherein we say air exists. Air exists. When we say air exists, where air, the word air and the comprehension air mean something different. The word existence, the comprehension existence mean something different. So air exists, two things, right? What is their relationship? Existence is all pervading, air is less pervading. Huh? So existence is the substratum and air is the property or that which is held. And if existence is the substratum and air is that which is held by existence, if the nature of existence is it exists and air is different from existence, then it's non-existent. Right? But it appears. So therefore it's Maya. So this property of air that it appears but doesn't have its own existence, that comes from Maya. So nistatva means that, right? And that's Maya Swabhavaha. And then from space, it gets the property of sound. So all these things come to air. All of these things come to air, right? But now the question is, a question starts to arise and says, wait a second. Wait a second. First of all, that which is reality has to be all-pervading. That which is absolutely real has to be all-pervading because it has to exist in and through every single being, every single thing. And that which exists in and through every single being, every single thing is existence. That which exists in me and in a bottle is existence. But that common thread is existence. Okay, fine. And space does not exist in everything, right? So this is a limitation. Existence exists in everything because existence is a substratum of everything. But space does not exist in everything, right? Space has its limitation. But now you're saying that space exists in air. So I'm a little bit confused because you said space doesn't exist in everything, but now you're saying space exists in air. So does space have a limitation or does space not have a limitation? So now let's see verse 81. Sato no vrittis sarvatra. Sato no vrittis sarvatra. Vyomno neti pureritam. Vyomno neti pureritam. Vyomanuvrittiradhuna. Vyomanuvrittiradhuna. Katham na vyahatam vachah. Katham na vyahatam vachah. Sato nuvritti sarvatra. Vyomno neti pureritam. Vyomanuvrittiradhuna. Katham na vyahatam vachah. So he says, Sataha anuvrittihi sarvatra. Existence is anuvritti. Anuvritti, it is all pervading. Sarvatra, everywhere. Everywhere. It's all pervading. And that's how we know that's reality. But vyomnaha na iti. But space isn't all pervading. Pura iritam. And that's what you said. So it was said in verse 2.67 that why there's a difference between existence and space is because existence is in everything. Existence is in space, it's in air, it's in fire, it's in water, it's in earth. Existence is in everything. And therefore, that is a substratum. And it was said in verse 2.67, that's not the case for space. So if you look at verse 267 in your book, it says, Bhinne vyatsati. So Brahman and space are different. Shabda beda buddhescha bedataha. Because the words and the comprehension of them are different. Vaivadishu anuvrittam sat. That existence is there pervading in everything. But natu vyoma iti bhedadihi, but not space. So it said that in 2.67. But now you're saying that here, vyomanuvritti aduna. Now you're saying that space exists now in air. Space is also there in air. So katham na vyahatam vachaha. So do they not contradict each other? What you're saying, isn't it contradictory? Right? You said space does not exist in air, fire, water, earth. Now you're saying space exists in air because you just said that there's this whole lineage of properties. So what is it that you're trying to say? So now Swami Vidyaranji says, okay, let me explain to you what I'm trying to say. Chidranuvrittirsarvatra Chidranuvrittirnetiti Purvoktiradhuna Tviyam Shabdanuvrittire Vokta Vachaso Vyahati Kutaha Chidranuvrittirnetiti Purvoktiradhuna Tviyam Shabdanuvrittire Vokta Vachaso Vyahati Kutaha. So he said, now here, Chidra Anuvrittihi na iti. Chidra means space. So yes, you are right. Swami Vidyaranyji says, you are right. We said in verse 2.67 that space does not pervade air and fire and water and earth. That was said. Chidra Anuvriti na iti. That was said. Purva ukti means that was said before. Aduna tu yam, but now what we're saying is yam shabda anuvritti ukta. Yam shabda anuvrittehe vritti eva ukta vachaso vyahatihi kutaha. We're saying that the property of space, that is what is going to air. So shabda, it says very specifically shabda, that sound, which is the property of space, anuvritti, that alone, eva ukta, that is what's being said. Only that property of space is carrying over to air. So vachasaha vyahiti kutaha. Where is the contradiction? So what he's saying here is that when we say space is in air, what Swami Vidyaranyji really means is that you're not taking the whole space and putting that in air. It's not that space exists in air. The effect or the property of space, that sound, that carries over to air. So that space per se is not carrying over to air. That property of space is carrying over to air. So space still has a limitation because it on its own is not being carried over. Like how existence is carried over. Existence is here in the bottle. Existence is here in the book. Existence is in me. Existence is in you. Existence is in the computer. Existence is everywhere. Existence carries in and through every single thing, every single being, whether living, non-living, wherever it is. Existence carries through everything. But that's not the case for space, right? You might think that space is carrying over in air. It's going to carry over in fire and water and earth. No, only the properties being carried over. And even that property of sound has a limitation, right? So only that sound is being carried over. That entity is not being carried over. The property is being carried over. So just like one example to make us understand is a mother and a child. Let's say a mother gives birth to a nice baby girl, lovely baby girl. Now the whole mother doesn't come with the baby girl. Maybe her eyes come to the baby girl. So maybe the baby girl's eyes are like her mother's eyes. But the whole mother didn't come with the baby, or the whole mother is not there with the baby. Just the mother's eyes are there in the baby's eyes. So in the same way, the whole space did not come with air. Don't think the whole space came with air. Just that property of sound, that shabda anuvrittihi eva. Only that property of sound is pervading in air. So therefore, there is no contradiction. There is still a limitation to space. There's still a limitation to space. It is not everywhere. The property may carry over, but it's not everywhere. So now, okay, the person is quite satisfied. Quite satisfied. Okay, I understand now. But I have a question. What then is the difference between, I think first you're saying that, okay, air is different from existence. Okay, that I get, right? But air is also different from Maya. So you're saying air is different from existence, so it should be non-existent, but yet it appears, so it should be an appearance like Maya. But air is also different from Maya. So how can air also be unreal or an illusion? Why can't air be true? So we'll read the verse and then you'll understand the thought process of this objector. Nanu sadvastu parthakyat. Nanu sadvastu parthakyat. Asatvam chettada katham. Asatvam chettada katham. Avyaktamaya vaishamyat. Avyaktamaya vaishamyat. Amaya mayatapino. Maya mayatapino. Nanu sadvastu parthakyat. Satvam chettada katham. Avyaktamaya vaishamyat. Amaya mayatapino. Okay. He says, Nanu, wait, I have a question for you. Sadvastu parthakyat, right? Okay. So first you're saying that if we differentiate air from sat, existence, sadvastu parthakyat, we differentiate them, right? And air is non-existence, right? So what's different from existence is non-existence. Okay, fine. So it's non-existence, but it appears it's Maya. But he says, it's different from Maya. You cannot tell me it's Maya because avyakta Maya vaishamyat. It is different from Maya. How is it different from Maya? Because Maya is unmanifest. Maya is unmanifest. If you remember in the earlier verses, we talked about how we cannot see Maya. We cannot hear Maya, smell, taste Maya. We can experience its effects, but we cannot perceive it. We cannot perceive it because it's unmanifest. So Maya is unmanifest. But air, right, is amaya. Air is amaya, meaning air is vyakta, it's manifest. So amaya mayata. Amaya mayata means it's not maya, it's manifest. So how are you saying that air is Maya? So you get the question, right? So air is different from existence. So air should be non-existent. But air appears, so it's Maya. Okay. But it's not Maya. I'm telling you, it cannot be Maya because it's different from Maya. Maya is unmanifest. It's avyakta. But air is clearly manifest. We experience air. We saw air has the properties of drying things, of touch, of movement, of fast movement. So air is not Maya. That is what the Purva Paksha, or the one who's objecting, that is what the one who's objecting, that's what he or she says. And so now Swami Vidyaranyaji has a very beautiful answer to this. He has a very beautiful answer. So let's see. Nistatvarupatay vatra, nistatvarupatay vatra, mayatvasya prayojika, mayatvasya prayojika, sa shakti karyayostulya, sa shakti karyayostulya, vyakta vyakta bhedinoho, vyakta vyaktatva-bhedinoho nistatvarupataivaatra mayatvasya prayojika sa shakti karyayostulya vyaktatva-bhedinoho. He says, listen, what makes Maya Maya? What makes Maya Maya? He says, the prayojika means the cause, right, of mayatva, the cause of illusion, that which makes something an illusion, is only one thing. Nistatva rupata eva atra. It is only that an illusion does not have its own existence. This is the main cause for an illusion, right? Maya is nistatva. So what makes something maya, what makes something an illusion, illusory, it doesn't have its own existence. Nistatva, tattva means existence. Nistatva doesn't have its own existence. Now, this nistatva, this illusoriness, this not having its own existence, shakti karya yoho tulya, it is tulya, it is the same in Maya called Shakti and in Vayu or air, which is the effect. It's the same. Both Maya and air do not have their own existence. Therefore, they are Maya. It doesn't matter if one is manifest and the other is unmanifest. Vyakta vyaktatva bhedinoho. It doesn't matter whether one is manifest and the other is unmanifest. So this is a very important verse because what it's saying is perception is not a criteria for reality. Perception is not a criteria. Just because we can see something, we can hear something, we can smell and taste and experience something, that doesn't mean that it's real. Because where is all of this happening? Where are all of my experiences resting? They are resting in existence awareness. Sat Chit. They're existing in existence awareness. So when we say that this world is unreal, when we say this body is unreal, this mind is unreal, our relationships, all the events, all of our experiences in life, when we say that they're unreal, we might wonder, how are you saying it's unreal? I'm experiencing it. Yes, but we're saying it's unreal because you are experiencing it in you. That is what we're saying. You are experiencing it in you, the awareness. So where am I experiencing my house? In my awareness. Where am I experiencing the person in front of me? In my awareness. Where am I experiencing my body? In my awareness. Where am I experiencing my mind? In my awareness. And without my awareness, I cannot experience anything. So this is what we mean when we say unreal. Unreal doesn't mean we don't experience it. We experience it. But we experience it in awareness. And therefore that awareness, which is that existence, which is in and through everything, is the only reality. And everything else is just an appearance. So the criteria for illusion is, it can be experienced, not a problem, but it doesn't have its own independent existence. So it doesn't matter if it's manifest, it's unmanifest, all of that doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. What matters is that awareness. We think, how we perceive the world, how we see the world is light falls on an object, and the reflection on the object touches our eyes and then touches our brain nerve, and then we get the knowledge and all of that. Actually, it's not outside in. It's inside out. It is only because of awareness that the mind is able to trigger the eyes, and the eyes are able to see that reflection of the object, and then it's able to comprehend. So our experience of the world is not outside in, it's inside out. So then this is what he answers. And he says, listen, I'm going to tell you something very, very important. It says in verse 85, we will read this verse and conclude with this. Sadasatva vivekasya prastutatvat sachintyatam asato vantara bhedaha astam tachintayatra kim sadasatva vivekasya prastutatvat sachintyatam asato vantara bhedaha astam tachintayatra kim. He says, now stick to the topic. Stick to the topic. He says, prastutatvat means the main topic. What is the main topic? Sat asat vivekasya. The distinction between sat, that which is absolutely real, and asat, which is unreal. That is the topic. Prastutatvat. Due to this being the topic, sachintyatam, focus on this. Focus on what's real versus what's unreal. Focus on this kind of distinction. Don't let your mind again go to Maya and air and all of that. He said, asataha avantara bhedaha. In asat, in that here asat means that which is illusory. That which is illusory, there's so many distinctions. There's so many distinctions in that which is illusory. Astam, let it be. In that which is illusory, there is something that's manifest, there's something that's unmanifest, there's something that's more pervasive, there's something that's less pervasive, there's something that has more properties, there's something that has less properties. Let it be. It's all in the realm of illusion. Tat chintaya atra kim. Why are you thinking about this realm of illusion again? The main point is distinguishing reality from unreality. Now don't go into unreality and start to contemplate on, oh, why, how is this unreal different from this unreal? They're all unreal. They're all unreal. Stick to the topic. Stick to the topic. What is real? What is unreal? Take what is real. Know that it is you. And rest there. Relax there. And just be there. Or someone might say, but I want to know what the answer is. The answer is that when something has more properties, it becomes less pervasive, right? So Maya has this one property is nistatva, means it doesn't have its own existence. So it is more pervasive, right? Then space has sound and also that property of nistatva. So more properties, less pervasive. Then air has more properties. We saw air carries over all the properties. So we counted 7, less pervasive. So the more properties something has, it's less pervasive. That's just the difference, right? More properties, less pervasive. Less properties, more pervasive. More properties, more manifest. More manifest. So like space, compared to Maya, space is a little bit more comprehensible. Compared to space, air is more comprehensible. So more properties, more comprehensible, more able, more manifest, more manifest. But that is if, again, logically the mind is stuck. But Swami Vidyaranyaji says, don't worry about it. It's all in the realm of illusion. Stick to the realm of reality. And he will go on, maybe a few more verses, 1-2 more verses about air. Then he will go on to fire and earth until he really makes it very clear that all of this is existing in existence. And existence is the only reality. So we let our minds rest there. We'll say the closing prayer, and then if anyone has questions, we'll take that. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.